Mr. One of my Pioneer subscribers had a question around a comprehensive breakdown on credit-seeking behavior. And so this video is going to be covering that response video for my subscriber, Mr. I appreciate your question. I think it was a great question. One of the founding pillars on this channel is talking about how to navigate banking relationships, lending relationships to get access to more capital at the best rates and terms to profit from it. And this question goes to the heart of that content that I put out. How do you build your banking relationships? How do you navigate banking with lenders? And how do you do it at scale without coming off desperate, without giving the wrong signals and signs to financial institutions that have the data in many cases and access to data to monitor your behavior, monitor the way you're building out these relationships, and determine if you're seeking credit, if you're showing signs of desperation. How do you navigate that is essentially what this breaks down to. Credit seeking is essentially, by lenders' eyes, banks and institutions' eyes, going to be, comprised of behaviors that indicate that you are desperate for access to capital. I always promote a couple things on this channel. The number one thing, or one of the number one things I promote, is banks' lending model is centered around maximizing profit and minimizing risk. They want to make as much money as they can while minimizing losses as much as they possibly can, especially if they are a publicly traded company and they have shareholders. No question about it. When you keep that framework in mind, that means every lending product they build out and the credit system itself, let's talk about FICO and Vantage, are going to be centered around finding borrowers, consumers and small businesses that can help them fulfill that mission of maximizing profit and minimizing losses. They are going to be looking for partners, not problems. Simple. They're going to be looking for partners and not problems. So that means that when you look at FICO and Vantage, depending on which one you're looking at, there's 5 to 6 major metrics that comprise your credit score. 2 of them at minimum, really 3, are going to be centered around credit-seeking behavior. So that's going to be the obvious ones, and we'll delve into the more nuanced ones, the modern ones that they now have the new technological infrastructure to monitor that aren't on your credit report necessarily, okay? The obvious ones are going to be utilization, new accounts, and hard inquiries. Those are going to all tell a story about your ability to manage credit and manage your banking relationships and your overall behavior around credit that you have access to. So that basically means if your utilization is too high, especially frequently, that is credit-seeking behavior. That is going to be something that can be categorized as credit-seeking behavior because the money you have access to, you're using the hell out of it and you're not able to pay it off at a healthy rate or pay it down at a healthy rate. New accounts, inquiries, pretty hand in hand. You will notice that there's very little wiggle room on new accounts and new inquiries. As soon as you cross the threshold of about 2 and 6 months, your credit starts taking a beating. Why is that so thin? Why is that something that is so narrow when in a modern era like today, the credit game is promoting a concept of, shotgunning applications and applying for a bunch of accounts at one time? Why is this so thin and so heavily punished? 10, 15% of your score in each category, by the way, is comprised between inquiries, 5 to 15%, inquiries, and new accounts. This is because when you monitor, from a lender's perspective, individuals, in particular consumers, not as much businesses, but to some degree small businesses, but especially consumers, that behavior, you have to stop and think, how many people can get access to and apply for that many accounts in that short of a window of time and actually be responsibly managing that debt? Now, my pioneers on this channel, those of us consuming this content, those of us educating ourselves in the credit space and looking to get access to this capital to scale and grow businesses and get access to assets, maybe we're the exception. We're not the rule. And I keep saying that. We are a niche in the credit space, in the financial world. There's a very small community of us that actually can handle 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 new bank accounts, new lending relationships, new credit cards, new loans, and do it responsibly. Most people out there cannot handle it. So they're not building out these models around us. They're not building out these models around the niche of us that can handle it and navigate it. It's too few of us to do that. So only a couple new accounts and inquiries. It takes only a couple of accounts and new inquiries to damage your credit report significantly. So that's one section of credit seeking behavior that banks and lenders are monitoring. To get into more nuanced topics, you have your EWS, your early warning systems, that are monitoring even the amount of banking relationships, check systems. All of these things are being monitored and pulled when you start applying for credit, right? So very important for you to keep in mind that this isn't just a game of inquiries, because that's a bad habit that has been promoted in the credit space by professionals and content creators as well. Like, oh, apply down each bureau, right? Hit Equifax and then, hit Experian and then TransUnion, and that's going to listen, that's elementary, very elementary. It might work 1 or 2 credit app sprees, funding sprees. It might work for a second. I assure you, long term, it's not going to be appreciated by financial institutions. So you have EWS and check systems as 2 examples of probably several that multiple decent size, large and mid-sized and regional banks and some smaller banks and institutions have access to or even outright own, that are communicating internally to how many different banking relationships you're starting. And that's on the banking deposit side and the credit lending side. So those are 2 more nuanced ones that are not on your credit report, that even if you're getting inquiries removed and applying per bureau and all this other BS that is being promoted by a lot of these other credit content creators, there's still other systems that are indicating how often you're applying for banking relationships and credit. So that's another layer. Another layer is within the institution itself. For an example, there's data points out there, credible ones, that are showing that American Express will start to punish you. They might blacklist you or pop-up jail you or, potentially even cut credit limits, whatever, if you check your spending power too much on a particular card you have with them. Credit seeking goes deep. The more technology and infrastructure these financial institutions have, they're paying very close attention. Soft inquiries, another one. This is something that shows up on your more deep, more in-depth credit reports. There's layers to credit reports. And when you get the really quality bank level ones, they can see soft inquiries as well. So don't think that you can continue to go, oh, this one doesn't hard pull you. Yeah, cool, it's great. And don't get me wrong, it makes a difference on your credit report. But if you think you're evading the credit seeking behavior and that banks aren't still able to gauge you when you apply for applications with them by your soft inquiries, you're missing out. You're crazy. You're ignorant. They can see it. Bank level credit reports definitely show soft inquiries without question. So this is another layer to credit seeking. There's layers to it we probably don't know, but I'm laying out overt and covert metrics of credit seeking behavior that these banks for sure can see. And this is from your credit report, FICO and Vantage, bank level credit reports, EWS, check systems, internal metrics and gauges. Do not think because you're evading hard credit limit increases, and because you're not, you know, gauging new accounts. You're basically applying for new accounts in certain windows of time that banks can't tell. On the consumer side, especially. Now you might get a pass on the business side because they're expecting you to do business. So, having new accounts every few months, couple months, if you can manage and you're paying it and it's showing a good payment history on time and you're paying down, you're probably okay on the business side. But it gets real intense on the consumer side. So I just wanted to address this as a response video. Mister, when you catch this, and any other of my pioneers that catch this, that find this is relative to their interest level, comment down below and let me know if this is a sufficient response in the sense of, does this give you a good picture of what this looks like and how deep this goes? Comment down below. Let me know. Do you need this to be more graphic? Would you like to have more images? Because I can also put this back out with more edits. I wanted to shoot this in a more timely fashion. So I didn't do all of the editing and have all the editing done by my team. So I want you to comment down below. Let me know if I covered this in enough detail for you, because this is a very powerful topic. A great question. And I want to make sure that you guys have a good grasp on this. So comment down below. Let me know what you think. Comment down below if I missed any that you know about that weren't covered in this video. I definitely want to expound on these different topics. Maybe you cover something I don't even know about. Comment down below. Other than that, to all my pioneers, welcome back. To my new viewers, welcome in. Comment down below and let me know any other questions that you have on any other topics related to banking, credit, lending, and leveling up in this experience on the consumer or business side. I want each of you to stay focused, stay in motion. I'll see y'all soon.